guys are ready? Let's get started. Everything that's not on camera right now, right, is gonna have a hard time in today's session. So specifically looking at that last 15-minute AMRAP, ouch for everything below there. Now, we are going to start off with 3 different movements. I have Ben and Sval ready for you guys to start doing the demos. We're gonna start off in a plank, doing alternating leg lifts. And if you guys wanna play along right from the start, let's get in that plank in 5 seconds from now. So, you want to count down? Okay, I'll count you guys down. 3, 2, 1. So we're in the plank, and Ben is doing this on elbows, slightly easier. Sval's going to do this on long arms. When you position yourself, you make sure the shoulder is right on top of the wrist, and in Ben's case, right on top of the elbow. Now pressing the shoulders up to the ceiling, squeezing your butt in your belly. They're going to start off with the right leg, pulling it from the floor. Boom, coming back down, switching to the left leg. Now while they're doing this, you guys can keep going. They're focusing on maintaining tension throughout in the belly. Because if you would lose tension in the belly, there would be a big arch in the lower back, which we try to avoid here. Very nice squeezing from the glutes and the hammies, pulling that heel away from the body and then up to the ceiling. Beautiful. You guys can take a break here. And you can go sit on the floor for movement number 2, which is called a straight leg sit-up. So what does that mean? Well, it means we're going to do a sit-up with straight legs. So when we're going to sit, we're going to reach back all the way behind our head on the floor. We're going to come up forward, and we're going to go as far forward as we can, and then we reach back. I need you guys to keep going in exactly this tempo. At home, when you do this, don't go for speed. Don't go for just touching something on the leg and go for fast reps. No, you're going to go for as big of a range of motion as you can possibly make. Because at the top of this little warm-up piece, it says Quality AMRAP. So as much quality work as we can possibly do. You guys can rest. And the third movement is going to be very good preparation for the quads. And if you have knee injury, this might be a very good exercise to do as well. Now what we're going to do is we're going to sit on our knees. Ben has something soft to place underneath his knees. We call it the old pillow for old man knees. Exactly. Now when we're sitting, you can either have your toes pointed backwards or pointed into the floor. Now on the way down, I both want them to squeeze their butt, slowly lower the entire body backwards while keeping that line of knee, hip to shoulder. And then in the first rep, on the way up, go up with exactly that same line. Shaboom. You guys do a couple of reps for me, please. Now Sval is going to try to increase his range of motion as far as he can possibly go while maintaining that line. I call that the most difficult option of the day. Now Ben, can you stop there for a second? And Ben is going to show the people at home what to do when you want to scale this. You go far as you can while maintaining that tension throughout. Go far, far, good, good, good. And when you want to go up, you're allowed to drop the butt and come back up into that same nice plank position from knee, hip to shoulder. So we call this the eccentric variation of the reverse Nordic curl. Very good. Now in the warm-up, we will only do 3 reps of this reverse Nordic curl. So I need this to be as challenging as you can possibly make it. Okay, we're going to start on our math fit warm-up. All right, we're going to have 6 minutes of a quality AMRAP. Starting with 12 reps of the alternating leg lift while being in the plank, starting with the right leg. Every repetition is once a leg moves. Then the second movement is exactly 50% of that, so half of the repetition, so 6 of a straight leg sit-ups. Then another drop of 50%, so half of that, which is 3 of the reverse Nordic curl. Cross math, here we go, guys. 10 seconds. And yes, if you want to be in the plank right now at home, you guys go for it. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. So starting with the right leg coming up, nice and controlled. Now, yes, you can go for a big range of motion, but what I'd love to see is first maintaining proper lines during the movement, and then you can increase range of motion. Because it's very easy to get your heel up very high and get into an arch with the lower back, but I do need you guys to still fight that for just 12 reps here. After 12 reps, you go sit down with straight legs and you throw me 6 straight leg sit-ups. Now, if a sit-up is extremely hard for you to perform due to either the lower back or due to just not having strong abs yet, you can use some momentum of throwing the arms forward to get yourself up forward as well. Also consider it kind of a dynamic way of stretching your hamstrings and lower back and glutes when you reach forward as far as you can. Some can touch the toes, some will have a really hard time doing that. Upon completion of the 6, we go sit on our knees and we start on our Nordic curls, but then the reverse variation. Very nice, Sval, very deep. Keep squeezing your butt all the way through. Even when you go up, it is a quad exercise, definitely. But when you squeeze your butt, guys, you keep your hips extended. It is exactly what we need in this reverse Nordic curl. So reach back, reach back, reach back, reach back. And Ben is going to do the scaled one. He's going to drop the hip, come up, and now he's going to go for the extremely slow lowering eccentric control here. Boom. A beautiful way of loading the quads without hurting the knee. Very good exercise also to strengthen everything around the knee. Yes. Okay, that was it. So after this nice little warm-up, we're going to start on our mobility portion of today's session. Now what you will need to do is set your timer at 6 intervals exactly. Every interval is going to be 45 seconds of dynamic mobility today, no static stretching, and then 15 seconds of transition time. We're going to have 2 movements alternating, so interval 1, 3, and 5 are going to be the cat-cow. Intervals 2, 4, and 6 are going to be a tabletop, but not just the position, but moving back and forth. Now, we're going to start out right with you guys. So I want you guys to also go to the floor and start sitting on knees and hands. I'll give you guys a couple of seconds to get into position. What we need to do here is, while I start the timer, is go from as round as we possibly can to as arched as we possibly can. So Sval and Ben, you guys can start this one in 5, or already right now would be great. 3, 2, 1. Boom. So when I'm looking at YouTube videos of people doing yoga, I always hear them say that you have to control the breathing here as well. So you probably need to do that. I'm just not the person to really talk about that though. So really push out as round as you possibly can. Thinking from top butt crack to the middle of your head. That's how round you're going to be, but also how arched you're going to be. It's 15 more seconds in this one before we move on to our 15-second transition. And then Ben and Sval are already going to start on this one so you guys can see what our second one is going to look like. We got 3, 2, 1. All right, so our second movement is going to be the tabletop. And for the tabletop, you're going to sit. You're going to have heels on the floor, hands on the floor, butt on the floor in the bottom. I want you guys to start already for the people at home. So from here, we're going to drive our hips to the ceiling. And then in that position, our knees are going to be on top of the ankles. Good. Now what you do here is 2 things at the same time. You're first of all squeezing your glutes, but it's also going to give you a very nice stretch in the shoulder. Now the positioning of the hands, I want you to be very careful of that. Ben has his fingers pointing forward, which means his shoulders are internally rotated. It's slightly easier with the stretching. Sval has his fingers placed backwards, which means the shoulder is externally rotated, and he's going to have a bigger stretch here. What you can also play around with is, once you're in that end position, is walk forward a tiny bit or lean into the legs a tiny bit. Can you guys do it in the next rep? So come up and then shift your weight towards the front. Getting even a bigger shoulder stretch. And if you look at Sval's face, you can see that's already very hard to do. Alright, so that was just 1 round of each of the movements. You got 2 more rounds of this to go. See you guys back in a second. Okay, so we're going to have a look at the 3 movements that we're going to combine in today's workout. So Ben and Sval are ready. The first thing that they will do is position their feet approximately underneath the hips. Good. Now from there, it's very simple. They're literally going to shift their feet out and drop into a squat. Get right up. You guys give me a rep here. Boom. Get right up. Reset the feet. Go back again. Drop. You can make this like a dance, so you jump in, you jump out, as long as you go into the rhythm here. What's really important is that you actually catch yourself in the squat while staying as upright as possible, and both of the feet hitting the floor at the same time, grabbing the floor fully. So there's a big tendency of dropping into the heel or into the toe. I need you to drop right into the middle. You guys can take a break, because I actually know that this is a very tough movement to do for high repetitions, and today we do this for high repetitions. Double thumbs up. Now, let's have a look at injury options for this one. First one is going to be no jumping / no apartment. No jumping, no apartment. It's going to mean we're going to do regular squats here. So Ben is going to stand here, sit nice and upright. Just give me a couple of good squats here, buddy. Sit nice and upright. The knees are going to be tracking the toes. The press is going to be heel, big toe, little toe. He's going to sit as upright as possible, and he's going to place his butt right on top of his heels here. Nice air squats. Now let's assume that Ben actually has a knee issue instead of a apartment or jumping issue. In that case, he's going to sub this for doing jumping jacks. We specifically chose doing jumping jacks. Just give me a couple of reps, buddy. Because of the fact that we need to keep the intensity up, and we're already doing glute bridges and ab work in the second and third movement. So we just do this plainly to get the intensity levels up in the workout. Instead of doing 15 drop squats, You will do 30 jumping jacks instead. Now, second movement is going to be the glute bridge, gentlemen. So let's go on the floor on our backs. First thing that we do is 3 points of contact. It's going to be butt, shoulders, and both of them heels. Approximately hip width stance, 90-degree angle off the knee. Fold your hips around your belly button, squeeze your butt, come up as high as you can, slowly lower. Now what I need you guys to do is go at a good workout pace here. You just demoed the movement, now give me a workout pace so people at home can actually see how fast we can move while maintaining proper positions. Now what Sval and Ben are not doing here is arching the lower back. They're not doing that. Very nice, guys. 30 reps of this in the workout. Great way of hitting the glutes properly. Definitely make sure you keep your toes off the floor, really press to the heels so you take your quads out of it as much as possible. Get your hamstrings or glutes to fire. You guys can stay on the floor for the third movement and final movement of this workout, which is going to be the ab bicycle. Classic way of hitting the abs, really aerobic based kind of movement. And I'm talking about aerobics class, not aerobic systems, by the way. Now what we will do here is we're going to lay on our back and Ben is going to place his hands underneath his butt. Sval's going to place his hands next to him on the floor. And you do that to drive their shoulders off the floor. Now they're going to have their legs kind of like a hollow position here, away, and they're going to start making bicycle movements. Let's go. Boom. Yeah, there's no rules in that. So you're going to go as close as you can and as far away as you can. And you keep doing that. Every leg you move is going to be considered a repetition. It's a nice dynamic way of hitting the abs. And we're constantly in that hollow, but we're just challenging the hollow because we're moving limbs away from the middle and back into the middle. Great job, guys. Alright, so what we just showed you was 3 different movements. We start off with the drop squats for 15 repetitions. Then we move on to the glute bridge on the floor with the hips coming up and down, 30 repetitions, and then we finish them around with 30 ab bicycles where one leg is going to be 1 repetition. So it's 30 alternating reps there. Now that is 1 round. You're going to have a 15-minute timer running and you're going to do as many rounds of these as you possibly can up until the 15-minute time cap. Right. I know Sval and Ben are ready. They're going to do a round with you guys, so hop on the gain train here and let's start all together. I'm going to set the timer 10 seconds, guys. Let's do this. Now I am going to look for full extension in the drop squat, so be aware of that. Alright, let's go. Drop into that bottom, come up, get the feet back in. Now I like the pacing here on the movement. So a very brief point in the middle, you see them doing every rep is just standing up all the way. So I don't want you to cheat on that standing up kind of thing. Now this is going to burn the hell out of their quads. Coach, why is this so different than a regular squat? Because we're catching the body instead of controlling the body. So your body is kind of like working as a brake here. Catching your weight on the way down. Good way of practicing some Olympic lifting while we're at home without any object. 15 reps. You saw that take approximately 30 seconds. Go right on their back. Start doing the glute bridge here. Really fold that hip around your belly button to keep your pelvic nice and neutral. Or a bit more posterior tilt instead of anterior tilt, which means the lower back is going to be arched. We don't want to see that. No. So once you feel your butt on the floor, you shoot them right back up. It's like the floor is lava, right? You hit the floor, boom, you come back up violently, squeezing your glutes as hard as you can. Once you start feeling the lower back is probably arching, so make sure you keep that one nice and flat and make sure you're pressing through the heels instead of through the toes. Sometimes you see people doing that and then they're going to start firing their quads and hip flexors. We want to try to avoid that as much as possible. And then on the floor, you can go right into your ab bicycles. And a good way of the ab bicycle is Sval's doing with his hands on the floor. He's pressing his shoulder blades off the floor and Benny has his hands supported underneath, which is easier of getting the shoulder blades off the floor. But gentlemen and ladies, which is the other way around, this is a rule. I do need to see shoulders off the floor. So you guys keep going. There was 1 round. Took approximately a minute and a half. Let's see if you guys can get 8 or 9 rounds in this workout. Good luck. See you back next time.